Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Wishing you all very happy and nice day. How are you all doing today? I hope you all are fine and happy. Today we are moving to the second part of our lesson, that is India's Maritime Meanders. I hope you all understood the first part. You all watched my video. So without having more introduction, I think we can enter into the lesson. First I want to read out the next paragraph. You may listen carefully. Aman sat lost in thought for a moment. What a great responsibility the Indian Navy had. No wonder his uncle looked preoccupied sometimes. Suddenly he sat up straight. How many ships do you have in the Navy, uncle? He asked. The Indian Navy is a formidable force today, said Uncle Vikrant proudly. We have 141 ships and submarines and more than 200 aircrafts. Ours is the fifth largest navy in the world now. I admire your uniform, said Aman with a shy smile. I think you really look very handsome in it. Thank you, said Uncle and Naren together. But do you know what our motto is? It is Shano Varuna, a Sanskrit saying which means, May the Lord of Oceans be auspicious unto us. Okay, listen. Before starting the explanation, I want to check you whether you understood the first part or not. I want to ask you some questions from the first part. Okay? Listen. Do you know where Uncle Vikrant was working? Where is Uncle Vikrant and his friend Naren are working? Yes, of course, you may be knowing that they are working in Indian Navy officers. They are working as Indian Navy officers. Then one more question. Why Ahmed was very much eager to go home from the school? Ahmed was not interested in listening to a cricket match or the classes. Why? What was the reason? Okay, I think you could understand the first part very well. Then let's move to this second part. Here, before moving to the second part, I want to brief the summary of the first part. What happened in the first part? Aman, when he was in school, he was very much tender hooks in school, and he was not interested to listen his lessons, his teachers, and he was not interested to enjoy the cricket game. It was played by his senior boys against a neighboring school. Soon after the school was over, he rushed into his home. He was very much eager to reach home because his uncle was there in his home. He is expecting something from his uncle. What he was expecting from his uncle? You remember? Yes, he was expecting very interesting stories of Indian Navy from his uncle Vikrant. He was a Navy officer, and soon after he reached home, Uncle Vikrant was there in the veranda, and his friend Naren was also present there. Then Uncle Vikrant and Naren explained something of their experiences and some things about Indian Navy. Okay, this was our last discussion. Aman sat lost in thought for a moment. After Uncle Vikrant explained the benefits of our country by Indian Navy, he sat down for a while. He sat down for a moment. What a great responsibility the Indian Navy had. What a great responsibility Indian Navy had. Why? No wonder his uncle looked preoccupied sometimes. Preoccupied means getting worried or thinking something or getting worried. Suddenly he sat up straight. Just after that, Aman sat up straight. And how many ships do you have in the Navy, uncle? He asked. How many ships you have in the Navy? Aman asked his uncle. Indian Navy is a formidable force today, said Uncle Vikrant proudly. With very proud and happy, Uncle Vikrant replied that Indian Navy is a formidable force today. What is the meaning of formidable? It causes fear to someone, causing to have fear or a respect because of the power. Because Indian Navy has the power, that's why somebody fear our Navy. That is, Indian Navy is a formidable force today, said Uncle Vikrant proudly. We have 141 ships and submarines. 141 ships and submarines. Ships you know very well. Then what is submarines? Submarines means a ship that can travel underwater. That can travel underwater. In Malayalam we can say Mungikappal. Yes, Indian Navy has 141 ships and submarines and more than 200 aircrafts. There are more than 200 aircrafts and 141 ships and submarines have now Indian Navy have. Ours is the 5th largest navy in the world now. Now we have the 5th rank in the world. Now our Indian Army have the 5th rank in the world. Oh, I admire your uniform, said Aman with a shy smile. Then Aman was very much shy to say that I admire your uniform. I think you really look very handsome in it. By wearing this uniform, you are looking very handsome. Thank you, said Uncle and Naren together. By hearing these words from Aman, Uncle Vikrant and Naren expressed their thanks to Aman. But do you know what our motto is? Then Uncle Vikrant asked Aman, do you know what our motto is? It is Shano Varuna. Shano Varuna. It's a Sanskrit saying which means our motto, the motto of our Indian Army is Shano Varuna, which means may the Lord of Ocean be auspicious unto us. What is meant by auspicious? Auspicious means suggesting positive or successful future. This is our motto, Shano Varuna. We do need the protection of the sea, said Uncle Vikrant on a more serious note. Now Uncle Vikrant's diverting to something more. He says that we do need the protection of the seas, said Uncle Vikrant on a more serious note. One of our most daring and courageous operations took place on 3rd and 4th December 1971 during the Indo-Pak War. Many of Pakistan's ships were destroyed in the Karachi harbour. Here Uncle Vikrant expresses or says another thing, that our Indian Navy do need the protection of our seas. One of our most daring and courageous operations took place happened on 3rd and 4th December 1971. There was a great operation by Indian Navy against Pakistan Army in 1971, December 3 and 4. During the Indo-Pak War, many of Pakistan's ships were destroyed in the Karachi harbour. During this war, many of Pakistan's ships were destroyed by Indian Army. Is that the reason why 4th December is celebrated every year as Navy Day? Now Aman asks, by hearing that good news, Aman asks his uncle, is it the reason for December 4th is celebrated as Indian Navy Day? Uncle, you are smart, Aman, said Uncle Vikrant, patting his nephew's head affectionately. When Aman told that, is it the reason behind this December 4 is celebrated as Indian Navy Day? When Aman told this, he was patting his nephew's head affectionately. Then, with very much affection and happy and with love, he was patting his nephew's head. Patting means touch someone gently and repeatedly. Means here, wow, very good, like this. He was doing like this. You are smart, Aman, said Uncle Vikrant, patting his nephew's head affectionately. Yes, such a daring feat deserves to be recalled every year, doesn't it? Aman nodded happily. Now Aman nodded his head and told, yes, of course, such a daring feat deserves to be recalled every year. These kinds of daring victories should be remembered every year, said Aman, thinking of how proud the nation would have been of her heroes. Now Aman thinking that how proud of nation would have been of her heroes. Here he thinks about Indian Navy officers. They got victory against the war against Pakistan in 1971. Those army. Now Aman thinks about them that they are heroes. Remember, Aman, a good navy is not only about war and fighting on the sea. According to the former US President Theodore Roosevelt, a good navy is not a provocation to war. It is the surest guarantee of peace. Now Uncle Vikrant reminded Aman that by quoting former US President's words that Aman, remember, Aman, a good navy is not only about war and fighting. Every time a good navy is not only about war and fighting on the sea. According to the former US President Theodore Roosevelt, a good navy is not a provocation. Provocation means, you know what is provocation? Provocation means make somebody angry. So a good navy is not a provocation, is not making somebody angry to war, but it is the surest guarantee of peace. It is a duty of the navy or army officers to guarantee, to ensure the peace of the land, peace of the country. I will tell you how the work on a warship is carried out, said Naren. Here Naren tries to explain something to Aman, that he explains how the works on a warship is carried out, how the operations of a warship is carried out. Naren is explaining. Life on a warship or a submarine is fraught with challenges. Life on a warship is frightened or full of fear. Fraught means full of challenges, fraught with challenges, full of challenges. It is very much challengeful to remain in a warship or a submarine. A warship, a submarine, or a naval air station is commanded by the commanding officer. He is the chief commanding officer. He is in charge of a naval air station, and he is assisted by an executive officer. there must be an assistant executive officer of departments, executive officer who heads the executive department and is the second in command. In the absence of chief commanding officer, this assistant executive officer takes the charge. So first in charge, the main and the first responsible person of an air station, naval air station, is commanding officer, and he has one assistant executive officer. The other heads of the departments are responsible to the CO, commanding officer, for the efficient functioning of their respective departments. And there are many other heads of other departments. All these officers are responsible for the efficient functioning of their respective departments. Friends, here Naren was explaining how the functioning of these naval officers or a navy was conducted, or how the functioning of navy was executed in a navy force. Again, he was explaining how other works are done in a navy. Naren explains in the next paragraph: the engineer officer maintains the ship, the electrical officer maintains the capability to generate and distribute electricity on board and looks after the weapons and sensors. The logistic officer, here Naren explains several departmental heads or various officers in a navy, in a naval ship. First one, the engineer officer maintains the ship. Engineering department maintains the ship. Whatever maintenance work is needed, they are maintaining whenever it was needed. And the electrical officer maintains the capability to generate and distribute electricity on board and looks after the weapons and sensors. Electricity officers are responsible for the for electricity, for the power needed in the ship, and they are also responsible for keeping the weapons and sensors. And the third category officers are the logistic officer, looks after the supply of food. Logistic officers are responsible for supplying food for each and every officer in a naval ship. And food, not only food, the logistics officer looks after the supply of food, clothing and fuel, and ensures that the men are well taken care of. This is a duty of a logistic officer in a naval ship, to supply food, clothing and fuel and ensure that the men all are taken care of very well in the ship. A small kitchen called the galley in a warship or a submarine is the life of the vessel, wherein 2 or 3 cooks working around the clock in a small confined space produce sumptuous and hygienic meals for their shipmates. Very interestingly, Naren explains about the galley, a small kitchen. Galley means a small kitchen in a warship or a submarine is the life of the vessel, wherein 2 or 3 cooks working around the clock in a small confined space. The kitchen, if we cannot think about a very vast kitchen as it is there in our homes, but in this warship it will be very confined. Only 2-3 persons are working or cooking there in a confined space, produce a sumptuous and hygienic meals. Sumptuous means a very luxurious food, and hygienic means very healthy food they are preparing for their shipmates. Okay, I think this is enough for today. Okay, happy learning. Thank you very much.